things like that, but it's not as rigorous as it is here. It's very, very, very different. So the program I'm going through, they pay for everything. They pay for my flight there. The accommodation package is insane. So I won't have rent. I won't have anything. I will have a travel stipend, a food like stipend too. I think that's the word. So I will not really have to spend any money on anything. So everything that I will make, I keep. Which is really
That's
exciting.
good.
Yeah.
Really good. Any idea where?
So I applied to go to Vietnam. I applied to Costa Rica. I applied to Spain, Portugal. I applied back to South Africa, and then I applied for Guatemala.
So
I'm not, yeah, a lot of options, and I'm not being super picky because typically they look for teachers that have had like a vast amount of experience or like a master's degree. And I only have 3 years, but I am a special ed teacher, and that's still in super high need even abroad. So I'm a very competitive candidate. So I've gone through my first round of interviews, and the tentative plan is that I would sign my contract in March, and then I move in September.
That is exciting.
Yeah, it's very stressful though. I have a car here, I have an apartment, so got to figure out everything. But it's definitely doable. So I'm super excited.
You're young, now's the time to do it.
Right.
All of those places have surfing, right?
They do. They definitely do.
Surfing's always been a big thing for you.
It has. So sweet that you remember that.
Absolutely. All right. So what would you tell? We got sophomores here. We just started. So they just finished freshman year. Some of them just started college classes. What advice would you give them?
My biggest piece of advice, I would probably say that the one person that's going to get in your way the most is going to be yourself. Because you have to want it. Like you have to want to have your associates and get ahead of the game. There are people that I graduated with that talked so much smack about early college and how it wasn't good for them and yada yada yada. But ultimately, it was their fault that they didn't get the degree or that they didn't do as well. So that's probably my biggest piece of advice is that you have to put yourself first, because really education is the gateway to everything. Growing up for me, I wasn't in the best home life. I had abusive parents, and I knew that education was my only way out. And it has provided me with numerous ways out now. Like I am thriving, I am successful. Everything's great. So I think that would probably be my biggest piece. Also, I felt like when I first started college at Coastal, I felt like I was prepared, but the college classes were a little bit more difficult than they are at Tech. So I would probably keep that in mind too, that it won't be the exact same. They might expect a little bit more work or longer class hours, things like that. But it was still very manageable, and I still did, and I still felt prepared. Does that make sense? Okay.
How would you, or let me think of a good way to phrase it. What role did the relationships you had with teachers and professors impact you, both at early college and at Coastal and Tech?
I feel like the relationships are really what carried me through. I went into foster care my sophomore year of high school, and I had only been in your class for 1 week. And I was terrified that I was going to get behind on my notes. And I remember doing notes in the little DSS office. And I came in, I was like, here's my homework, Mr. Chappell. And reflecting on that now, like as a teacher, I remember feeling super embarrassed, and I didn't want anyone to know that I was in foster care or, that something bad had like happened. And now that I'm a teacher, I'm like, okay, they definitely knew, everybody knew, because, like you have to know per se. I just wouldn't be where I would be if I didn't have those relationships. You were there for me. Mr. Graham was there for me. I feel like I could have taken a very different turn in my life if I didn't have the academic support and the relationships that I had with my teachers during that time to keep me kind of guided and on the right path. And that carried in with college too. I had the most amazing professors. All of them have written me letters of recommendations for teaching abroad. So I still had support. Like everywhere I went, there was support.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to open it up to the audience for any questions. Does anybody have a question for Ms. Faircloth? Say it one more time. Mm. Did you develop a bond with any of the kids you taught while you were in South Africa?
Yes, there were two. So there was a little girl named KK and then Emioli. I cannot say Emioli's last name because it's a very big word. I FaceTime with them once a week, and I've been gone from Africa 2, 3 years, 3 years now. Sometimes it's difficult to speak because there is a language barrier between me and Emioli. They speak Xhosa in South Africa, which is where they click their tongue. Super talented. I don't know. I've tried to learn and I cannot. And then with KK, it's been a little difficult to keep in contact with her because when I met her, so like my last week in South Africa, I stayed at a orphanage, and she had just been brought in from a foster care situation. So she's kind of gone from home to home. So I haven't really kept in touch with her as much as I wanted to, but we have been writing letters. But I also was friends with these people named Bob and Joanna, which are from Florida, and they moved to South Africa to start a orphanage. So I talked to them. And then there's Blake and Megan, who are from Virginia and moved to South Africa to work in a rape center crisis. And we're in contact all the time. So, and like since Bob and Joanna run their own orphanage, there's a school right up the road. So if I do go teach abroad in South Africa, I could live with them and then go to the school. So yeah, contact as well. We are still in contact.
What else?
The organization you should do, is there one for like not just teaching abroad, but like multiple ones for different careers?
What's your question?
The organization
What organization?
teaching abroad,
Okay, so the question's about teaching abroad.
Mhm.
but like so you know how it's for teachers, right? Let's say if there was a person who did psychology, is there one for that?
Do you know if aside from teaching, they have like other professions that have something similar like teaching abroad? Like psychology, sociology,
Yes.
something like that?
So the program that I'm going through, they also hire like school counselors, therapists, all things like that. And you don't even really have to be a teacher to do it. You just have to have some type of bachelor's degree. Teaching is preferred, but it's not like a requirement.
Well, thank you.
But I promise you, there are tons of jobs abroad. I mean, there are so many programs where you can go work on like a farm and work for them and like live there and then explore. It's just all about doing your research, really.
All right, one more question. What did you love most about early college?
Early college. There's so many things. I think your class was honestly my favorite class. So that was probably my favorite part, was probably your class. I liked how small it was. That was probably because I felt like I could get my needs met. There wasn't a lot of kids that were like in my way, not like in my way per se, but like in a like at like North Myrtle Beach, there's like 35 kids in one class. Like how can one teacher help 35 kids? Like that's pretty insane. So I just felt like I was able to get the help and everything that I needed because the class sizes were smaller and it was a little bit more personalized.
Perfect. Well, we thank you for your time. It's good to see you as always. We'll have to catch up some more.
Yeah, I would love that. And I haven't shared the I'm moving and going to teach abroad yet because I obviously have not resigned from my job yet or told anyone. So, but that's what's next and is in the works.
Very good. Well, hope you have a great, wonderful long weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Enjoy the weather. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. And if your students have any questions, they can email me if you want to share that.
We'll do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.